good afternoon and good evening to you, the little people of the tube. Hope you're well today, hope you're feeling grand all around your world, the big wide world as it is. Hi there, welcome to a pedal demo today of the Marshall Jackhammer. This is the first pedal I ever bought, even before it's pre-Zoom, the Jackhammer is, and this is the exact one, and I love it. You probably get really sick and fed up of hearing me say I love it. I should do a video someday where I'll just like do a product and I'm like, I hate this, it's rubbish. No, that's gonna happen. No, anyway, back to the Jackhammer. Yeah, this is an awesome pedal. I'm not as much a fan of a there's two modes on the pedal, and I'll give you a close up in a sec. There's an overdrive setting, an OD mode, and there's a distortion mode. I'm not a big fan of the distortion side of the pedal, but the overdrive side is to die for many different reasons as well. It's an awesome clean boost, it's an awesome mid-range overdrive, and it's an awesome kind of like, you know, real kind of pushed overdrive. And what I've got done today is I've got it plugged in to my other pedals on the floor. So I've got my Boss DS2, Ibanez WH10W, and my Marshall Governor, because I want to show you how it interacts with other pedals as well. And we'll be going through the Marshall MG today. Somebody said they wanted to see more of the MG, so I'm going to give these CR120s some time off and use my MG for a while. I have been kind of neglecting it a little bit though, so yeah, the guy's definitely right. So yeah, without further ado, let me give you a close-up of the Jackhammer, show you the dials on top, show you what it's got. But like I say, I'm definitely a fan of the overdrive setting. The distortion has its charms, but the overdrive of the setting is really where this pedal shines, I think. So without further ado, let's get to a close-up of the Marshall Jackhammer JH1. Okay, so here we are, Marshall Jackhammer JH1 by Marshall. Okay, so what do we have? Oh, there's me. Hello everybody. Yes, left side, let's start on the left side. So over here on the left side you've got a selector for distortion mode or OD. I normally just have it on the OD sound. Like I said, I do like the distortion. It's not about its charms, but the OD sound is just awesome. Next up we've got dual concentric dials. Basically like a dial on the top and a dial at the bottom. They do different things. We've got a gain and a volume. Volume is on the bottom and gain is at the top. So I've got volume. This is the setting I always have, so I'll show you it now quick. This is the volume on 10. I have a gain about 10, 11. It's like between 10 and 11 o'clock, so it's like half 10 if you will. It's like between them two. The paint's kind of worn off now, but you can kind of see it. And then you got a treble and bass dial, which I don't use at all. I'll show you it in the demo, but I don't really like it. I don't really like the frequencies the treble has, and I don't really like the low end the bass has. It's just a bit flubby. So I'll show you it, but I won't be using it for much of a video. The dials I will be using most of are these two here, the frequency and the contour, and these are the most ridiculously powerful dials on this pedal. They have the ability to shape your tone to pretty much whatever you want. They're absolutely mad. So the bottom one, well, you say you got your contour and the volume, and again they're all dual concentric, which means to say there's a dial on the bottom and there's a dial at the top. Okay, so without further ado, let's make some more noises with the Marshall Jackhammer JH. Okay, so yes, the Marshall Jackhammer JH1. So let's bypass it a sec. This is just the MG. I'm using the overdrive channel set clean, and this is just the MG on its own. I've got it set quite quiet and very clean. So really clean, you know, quite quiet, because I've got the Jackhammer kind of boosted all the way up. So that's just the MG on its own. Adding the Jackhammer now just fattens it up and just gives you an extra little bit. it just fattens it up like no end. Like if I just do it again, so this is without. And then add in the jackhammer. It just does that kind of John Frusciante thing where it just kicks your amp over the edge, and that was more like Yngwie Malmsteen. But yeah, it just pushes it a little bit more. And it's just really cool. So that's the setting you saw at the beginning. So it's set to the overdrive mode. Volume is all the way up. Gain is about 10, half 10. Treble and bass are both on 0. Contour is at half, and frequency is all the way up on. Well, yeah. So it's basically at 5 o'clock, so to say. Yeah. So yeah. So that's just like my. That's my clean setting for in here. That's the setting this pedal never kind of deviates from, and I use pedals on top of that to kind of like, you know, add different layers of gain, like the DS2 or the Marshall Governor or both, and then the Ibanez Wah. And it does actually no, I won't show you the pedals yet. We'll talk about pedals later. So let's dive in some different sounds now. Let's crank up the gain, and I'll show you kind of like how much gain is on the overdrive sound. Okay, so like I say, the gain at this point in time is like between 10 and 11 o'clock. It's not particularly high. It's just got a nice. It's just pushing the amp and the guitar. But if I lower the gain down to, excuse me, if I lower the gain down to a quarter now, this is kind of the lowest it'll go. So in here, I mean that, and anything below that is just kind of like. That's all the way down. A bit lifeless and dull. So boosting the gain now to half. So this is gain at half now. Kind of bluesy sound. You can almost kind of get. Almost get that kind of like Steve Ray Vaughan Texas blues thing, Jimi Hendrix kind of blues thing. Really nice sound. So boosting the gain now up to 3/4. What is not to like about that sound? It almost kind of gets that kind of Phil Sacey kind of feel. You know, it's got a really aggressive kind of bluesy sound, but at the same time it's really fat and warm. So really just awesome. Okay, and that gain all the way up. So it's quite a lot, again, really. So anyway, I'm getting really carried away. I'm in that kind of, I just don't want to talk, I want to play mood. Okay, so that's getting all the way up now. I'll show you the treble and bass style next. I'll show you, I don't really like them. They're not, they don't really, I don't really like the treble. I don't like that, it's quite high ending, I'll show you in a sec. And I don't really like the bass either, it kind of adds a bit more kind of a flub. But I'll show you it anyway, because I'm sure somebody out there will love these two dials. So let me move on now. I'm going to leave gain and volume cranked all the way. I'm going to leave frequency and contour where they are as well for this time being. So, and now I'll show you the treble and the bass dial. Okay, so at this point in time, treble and bass are on 0. So we'll start with the bass. So the bass is off at this point in time. So that's bass off. And I say you can hear there's a lot of low end coming from the amp anyway. So now I'm going to put the bass to a quarter. It's infinitely made the amp hit. Made it louder. And it just seems to be too much bass now. It's a bit on the heavy side. This is bass at half. It's starting to get flubby. And if you kind of like go to net pickup, you rattle the room and everybody in it. Which is, it's cool, but you're not really going to stand out much in a mix in that because you've got so much bass. It doesn't really have a lot of cut. This sound. This is bass on 3/4. But if you're in a duo and you just got a drummer and your guitar, crank that bass up. You will not need a bass player. It's massive. And then this is bass all the way up now. Dare I play Man on the Bottom? I've got the Hofner Verifins on the wall. It's like, stop! Okay, so that's the bass. So we'll roll that all the way back down. A little bit's okay, but it's nice without. It sounds good without. But again, you know, if, like I say, if you're kind of doing a white stripes thing, it'd be quite cool to have that bass quite high. It just fill out that kind of frequency. But if you're playing with a band with a bass player, you don't want to be kind of jumping into their frequency, really. It's kind of get in the way, so to say. And if there's not much cut with that sound either, you're not going to get a lot of kind of cut in the mix. It's not. You can kind of disappear if you're not careful. So moving on to a treble now. So this is treble off. So treble now at a quarter. It's infinitely, immediately brighter. It's not infinitely brighter. It's immediately brighter. And that's one thing I do love about Marshall pedals. They are ridiculously responsive. Their EQs are always so responsive, like on the Governor, on the Jackhammer, on the Blues Breaker, which another pedal I'm going to demo for you at some point. And the compressor, Ed the compressor, which is like my favourite compressor pedal. But I don't use him a great deal, but he's about. And I'll demo him at some point as well. But anyway, where was I? Without talking about Ed the compressor. Right, so that's treble at a quarter. This is treble at a half. So you can hear the amp starting to hit. It's nice, but it's not really. So it's cool, but it's a bit ice picky. Treble at 3/4 now, I'm going to get mega ice picky. One thing I will say that is nice is I don't really like the treble frequency it adds, but it does retain like its fatness. You know, the treble's there, and it's not really pleasing to my ear. I'm sure some people will love it, but to my ear it's a little bit harsh, but it's still got its warm, like, fat line, which is really cool. Because sometimes when on a distortion pedal, if you turn up like the tone or the treble, you lose low end. It kind of thins it out. Whereas on this pedal, it's still there. It's still really big sounding. And this is treble now all the way up. And again, you've still got that fat line. For days, but I definitely prefer it with it all. This is going to sound really dark now, but I prefer it with the treble and the bass all the way down. I don't know, it's just a warmer, fat sound to me. But again, you know, I want to show you because I'm sure some people out there would love that, and you know, I can see why, but like in my head, the sound I have in my head, it doesn't like it. It doesn't like it. It kind of rebels. Anyway, so yeah, that's the treble and the bass art, and they're extremely responsive and they're really, really cool. But I tend to just run them off and just like have it use the frequency and contour that, which I'm going to get to next, to kind of like, you know, to shape the sound. Because the frequency and contour are ridiculously powerful controls on this pedal. So anyway, yeah, so let's get to them two now. Okie dokie, so yeah, frequency and contour dials. These are the main dials I use on this pedal to kind of shape the sound, so to say. Because the frequency is really powerful and the contour is powerful as well. You know, they really do a lot. So obviously contour kind of like gets rid of mids. Frequency is kind of like, well, I'll just show you. It's easier if I show you. So let me show you contour first, which on the dual concentric dial, which, you know, there's one at the top and one at the bottom, the contour is the bottom one. So I've got that at half at this point in time. So this is half on the contour. that's half. That's my happy place. I feel at home there, all snug with a cup of tea in front of a warm log fire, thinking life is good. That's what that does to me, that sound. Okay, so yeah, so if I lower the contour down now to all the way down to 0, so this is basically like 7 o'clock. This is all the way. It's not a million miles away from the sound with the treble about 3/4, which is another reason why I don't use the bass and the treble on the pedal. They seem a bit redundant once you start messing around with the contour and the frequency, because you can kind of get those sounds with the contour and the frequency without having to touch the treble and bass. So it seems like a bit of a redundant dial, the bass and the treble dial, but you know, it's cool to have it there nonetheless. So that's contour all the way down. This is contour now at 1/4. Still quite bright. Contour at 1/2, which is where I had it. You know, it's starting to fatten up. It's contour at 3/4. A lot more low end. You know, it's darker, and then you get contour all the way up. So you can hear it. It just adds a lot of kind of like, and the more you turn it up, like it's darker and it's a fatter sound. So if I go from 1/2 quick, so this is 1/2. I'll tell you what I'll do. So I'm gonna set that going on the looper and turn the volume down a bit. So this is the contour dial. So this is all the way down. You can kind of hear it. It kind of. Just fattens it up. But I like it a lot around 1/2. It does really. It's got the right, for me it's got the right kind of balance of like, you know, really kind of fat and warm, but it's got that kind of like, you know, that cutting kind of sound, which is really, really nice. Okay, so let's move on to a frequency dial now. And again, this is another ridiculously powerful dial. Let me show you what I mean. So you can hear there's tons of different frequencies on there. And I don't have it all the way up, but this is all the way down. Yeah, quite bright, quite brash kind of sound. Frequency on 1/4. We're into a different, you know, that's a different kind of frequency now. Not a million miles different, but different nonetheless. It's frequency at 1/2. It's like. That's like a really scoopy frequency. There's not a lot of mids there. Yeah, it's got that real kind of scooped out sound. Frequency at 3/4. Really weird frequency at 3/4, and then all the way up. You know, we're back into that classic Marshall-y sound. So, frequency and contour dials are ridiculously powerful, and they work together really, really nicely. Like ridiculously nicely. They play nice. They're definitely like hand in hand, which is really, really cool. They're not trying to fight each other, so to say. But I definitely prefer them. Like with the contour at 12 o'clock and the frequency all the way up, so it's like at 5 o'clock. It does. Love that sound. Love that sound. Okay, I'm going to switch modes now. I'm going to go to the distortion mode and show you that. Okay, so that's all on the OD setting. So let's switch over to the distortion mode now. Well, I'll show you the difference. This is OD. Infinitely different sound. Infinitely different tones. OD is a lot brighter. Distortion is tons darker. So we need to brighten it up. So what can I mess with? Let's mess with the contour. I'll put the contour all the way down, which will kind of like add, you know, get rid of some of the low end and add some height. So that's contour all the way down. This is contour all the way up. Really dark. It's like you're on the other side of a wall. It's kind of muffled out. It's really, it's cool. I like the sound though. I do like the sound. So I'm going to do contour all the way down. So it's like at 7 o'clock. Let's find a frequency. So we're going to mess with the frequency dial. The frequency dial doesn't do a great deal on distortion. It's not as drastic as it is with the on the overdrive setting. That's interesting. I don't actually use the distortion side of this pedal that a great deal. I actually never realised that it doesn't actually do much. But anyway, contour definitely does. Here we go. If I put contour all the way up, so it's like 5 o'clock. Then the frequency dial really takes effect. Oh, that's weird. Weird sound. And then this is a contour at a half. Really filtered out, that sound is. And then this is contour. I'll tell you that it does sound like. You could do that with that. You could kind of set the Jackhammer to be a kind of like lo-fi filtered sound, and then turn that off. If you like, you could use that like an interval of a song where it kind of like drops dynamic, but you're still distorted, but it's kind of filtered out. And then like once you're done with that kind of filter sound, you want to break back in really big. You can just turn that off and then turn on another distortion. So it's a little bit of help from the Marshal Governor there. That's really cool. I'm going to put it back to the setting I had earlier on. So this is where are we? Contour at half, frequency all the way up. It's fat. It's a really fat, low-endy sound. And that's distortion mode. There's not a great deal of difference in the kind of gain. This is gain all the way down. Gain at half, and gain all the way up. There's no difference really in gain structure. The gain is kind of like the same on the overdrive and distortion, but there is a lot of gain in that. So there's tons of gain in this thing. So yeah, it's a real fun pedal just to mess around and play with, because there's a lot of tones in it. There's some really weird ones as well, which is really cool. So I'm going to switch back to OD now and show you how working with other pedals on like a cleanish Well, I'll show you on the distortion sound first, and I'll clean it up and show you how it works with a cleaner sound. Okay, so switching back to the OD mode, gain and volume are still maxed out, treble and bass are still off, contour is at half, frequency is all the way up, gives you that kind of, classic kind of rock, Marshall kind of tone. So if I stick on like now the Governor with this sound, it'll just push it right over the edge and it'll just like immediately feed back. But it'll sound brilliant. Especially with palm muting if I turn the guitar down to 8. It is massive sound. That is a huge sound. Marshall Governor, Jackhammer, Ibanez Wah. Gain for days. Sustain for days as well. So they behave really nice together. And I say that's it maxed out. I'll show you it on a cleaner setting in a bit. And that's the Ibanez Wah. The Ibanez Wah on its own with it. They're just happy. They're just like, yeah, we'll do what we want. We'll do what you want. It's great. And then you can kick a DS2 on top of this as well. This is giving me immense gain. It's definitely raining. I think Kurt would like that sound. Massive sound. Maybe it's not harsh enough, but so that's the DS2 and the Jackhammer with it maxed out. I mean, what is not to love about that? I like that it's just sustain for days. And I say, as long as you get to a pedal to turn it off before you stop using it, so you're not got that sound going all the time. You can use both of them, and it's glorious. And why would you not want that amount of gain? Yes, mate. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to clean up a pedal. I'm going to put it back down to the clean kind of John Frusciante sound I had at the beginning of the video. So I'm going to lower the gain down and show you how it behaves with the pedals then. Okay, so going from this. Back to our kind of John Frusciante. Got carried away there with 21st century thing. Yeah, so yeah, back to clean, and that was with the DS2 and the Ibanez Wah. And one of the massive questions I get asked all the time is like, I can't control the Ibanez Wah and the DS2 volume jump. With this pedal, that is just no issue whatsoever. Like I say, without it, if I get rid of it, go to that kind of clean sound, which is really nice. You know, it sounds John Frusciante-esque, it's got that kind of tone. But if I go to kick on the DS2, it does, yeah, it does what you all say, it just jumps. It's blooming awful, and the same with the Ibanez Wah. And the Ibanez Wah sounds just nothingy. It just doesn't sound very good. But adding the Jackhammer with the gain low, so you get that kind of John sound. You can stick on the Ibanez Wah and it doesn't do anything, and it's that really fat John Wah. Really cool. So you get that really cool kind of Ibanez, yeah, the Ibanez Wah behaves itself, and mine's not modded, it's stock. And then they get the DS2 as well, and it does the same thing, it just makes it behave. It just compresses that nasty high-end signal. This gives you a real nice DS2 sound. So that does this. You can hear there's no volume jump whatsoever. It's just there, and it just sounds like. Keep going if I don't stop myself. So that's the DS2. I mean that is just, and I say when you combine it with the WH10 as well, you get a really intense John. You kind of get like the intro to La Cigale as well. going to that kind of thing. But anyway, yeah, so that's the DS2, that's the Ibanez Wah. You don't get any volume jump with this pedal, it just makes them behave, it just keeps them in the language. Just watch it, right? Just sit there and behave yourself and do what you're supposed to do. It's like it's its teacher, basically. It keeps them in check. And then when you add the governor on top of that, it's just heaven as well. So you kind of get like, where are we? Yeah, so this is just the jackhammer on its own. Governor. Scratch of doom. Actually, no, I'll do it. Change my mind. I'll do it with Les Paul when I switch to humbuckers in a sec. It just loves everything. This pedal just loves everything. It just loves every pedal that comes before it or after it. And let me tell you where it is in the signal chain, because this is where I find it works the best. So from the amp, we're coming into the governor, and then from the governor is to the jackhammer. So you've got distortion and then the jackhammer, and then from the jackhammer it's going into the wah, the Ibanez Wah. The Ibanez Wah is then going into the DS2, and the DS2 is coming into the guitar. So your guitar, DS2, Ibanez Wah, jackhammer, governor, and the zoom pedal, and the chorus pedal and the delay pedal. Let me do this again. Just not thinking straight. I'm blaming the jackhammer. It's his fault. Marshall, zoom, Rosemary in time, chorus and delay pedal. That's not on. The zoom is bypassed. Into the governor, jackhammer, Ibanez Wah, DS2, guitar. And backwards it'd be guitar, DS2, Ibanez Wah, jackhammer, governor, chorus pedal, zoom pedal to the amp. So that's the signal chain I've got. And that's the signal chain I find that works. It works for me, and it might not work for everyone. And these settings, again, might not work for you. But mess with the frequency in the contour dial if you want that kind of John Frusciante sound. It will be in there. I promise you, it will be in there. Play that. I hope. Last time I played Solid Squeeze I got copyright flagged. I'll probably get copyright flagged for this video actually. I just realised I've been playing loads of the people's songs. Anyway, regardless of that, so yeah, it works nicely as like a solo boost as well. Like if you're just kind of like chugging away on the governor. And it comes to a solo, you can kick in the jackhammer. And it's really, really fat sounding. But I tend to have the jackhammer on all the time. It's the same as the Golden Plexi on my other board. It's on all the time. It's like the only thing I can kind of think it to is when Jack White's setup, he had an MXR micro boost, and he had that on all the time, just kind of push his amps, and that's basically what this is kind of doing for me. It's an on all the time, set the amp clean, let the pedal do let the pedal do the pushing, so to say. That's just the DS2 and that. That's it. Okay, I'm going to switch to the lemon drop now and finish showing it with humbuckers. I'm just going to I'll show you how it kind of reacts with pedals, but I'm going to show you it kind of like on the low gain and then the full gain, and then the distortion sound as well quickly. And then yeah, that'll be that for this video. So let's change guitar. Okay, so switch to humbuckers now. This is still the John Frusciante setting, so it gives you this. Obviously, with humbuckers, you're going to get more output. And also, I failed to mention, I had to put the pickup covers back on my lemon drop, which I wasn't overly happy with. But the way I'm setting up my humbuckers at this point in time, with the pickup covers off, the high E string when I was playing was getting hooked under the bottom of the humbucker, so I had to put the covers back on. So I'm running really high on the treble side, really low on the bass side, and really high on the treble side, and I really like the sound of it. But anyway, back to the demo, Dave. Enough about nonsense pickup covers. Anyway, Jackhammer, same setting, gain about 10, 11 o'clock, somewhere around. It's between 10 and 11. It's kind of like, you know, variable. Say treble and bass is all the way off. Contour is at half frequency is all the way up. And because you Sorry, Peter, totally messed that one up. No, I always play that. So there's a guitar solo Peter does in Tutti Frutti live, and it's one of the coolest guitar solos I think like ever. It's just so cool. The way he starts it and what he goes into, because it's like what is it? He does that, and then he just does this. That's he's in tune. It's like, that's the most intense moment of my life. It's just ridiculously over. That started with the side, it's going. It's just like that. It's just like heaven. That is blues guitar soloing heaven. Thank you, Peter Green. That's another thing this pedal does. It's really dynamic to your playing. It's really, you get real nice kind of like those kind of Peter Green, you know, just by the way you pick. It's really, really cool. So that's gain on the John Frusciante kind of clean setting / Peter Green, Paul Kossoff, Eric Clapton, Jimmy Page setting, if you will. What doesn't this thing do? Okay, so I'm going to crank the gain now. I'm going to leave it where it was, so this is just the gain crank. Buy it! Buy one! I order you! I don't, I'm just saying. The Marshall Jackhammer, everybody! It just makes you want to play the guitar, and not talk. Which in my case is definitely a good thing. Because I can yammer on for hours about nothing. Anyway! I'm just gonna go mad. Why, let's just do something silly at the end, why not? And let's drop to B. Can take it. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this video on the Marshall Jackhammer. It is an absolutely awesome pedal. Like I said, this is my first ever pedal I bought off a friend, and I still love it. I absolutely love it. As you can hear, it's just incredible. It's just incredible. It does so much. The Marshall Jackhammer, everybody. I will see you again for another video very soon. Have a great morning, afternoon, evening. Goodbye now. Thank you very much for watching. See you later.